Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Thursday, June 16th, around 7:30 in the evening. Sun's still out, probably going down in a half hour or so. And it's going to be a cool night tonight, in the 50s tomorrow. Not as warm as today, but in the 70s average temperatures. Heat and humidity return next week. Some news to report. It's Happy National Mascot Day. So congratulate all the sports mascots. Coming next week, I'll be doing a top 10 list of the top 10 best sports mascots of all time. So you gotta stay tuned. Also, the Calgary Flames are interested in goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Marc-Andre Fleury was the #1 goaltender for the Penguins until he got a concussion, and then he was replaced by Matt Murray, who led the Penguins to a Stanley Cup. And the Philadelphia Flyers bought out the contract of forward R.J. Umberger, meaning R.J. Umberger is now an unrestricted free agent signed with any team in the NHL. And that's about it on news. You can't see me. My third and final video blog subject of the night is my personality profile. Tonight's personality profile is about professional wrestler Erik Watts. Erik Watts has been in the sports entertainment business for about over 20 years, and he had a decent amount of success. His father's Cowboy Bill Watts, legendary wrestler and promoter, and a WWE Hall of Famer. Erik was born into a wrestling family. He grew up in Oklahoma. His father Bill promoted Mid-South Wrestling and UWF, and from a couple of times Erik Watts was on UWF television, especially when Bill was making a comeback in 1986. Erik loved playing football. He played football in high school, and he was on the University of Louisiana football team in the early 90s, but the wrestling bug bit him. His father, Bill, took over as vice president of wrestling operations for WCW around the summer of 1992, and Erik was trained to be a wrestler by his father, Bill, and Erik made his debut in August of 1992 at some house shows. He was getting a lot of house show wins against preliminary wrestlers and Scotty Flamingo and a young Diamond Dallas Page and a few other wrestlers. Soon he was being pushed on television, WCW television. He started an undefeated streak. His famous move was the STF, the step over toe and crossface, or it's known as the crippler crossface in the WWE by Chris Benoit, but he's erased from history by the WWE. But anyway, Erik started winning matches, and he was getting a decent amount of push. He beat some veteran wrestlers, including Michael P.S. Hayes and Arn Anderson, and he had briefly a U.S. title feud with Ravishing Rick Rude, but Rick Rude retained the U.S. title in a couple of the matches. And then Erik Watts was slated to get the WCW World Television title in March of 1993 after Scott Steiner left for the WWE, but his father Bill Watts was fired as WCW vice president, and Erik made it to the WCW television tournament finals against Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff, and Mr. Wonderful beat Erik Watts to win the WCW TV title tournament. And for the last year, Erik what was in WCW, he wasn't getting too much of a big push. He was decently doing good on television, but when he wrestled the top WCW stars, Erik was being beaten 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. A lot of wrestling experts says his father, Bill, pushed him to the moon in WCW, and when he left, he didn't get too much of a big push. And in 1994, Erik left WCW. Erik returned to the wrestling ring in 1995 with the WWE. He teamed with Chad Fortune, and they were Techno Team 2000. Travis and Troy, they had a futuristic look to them, and they got a minimum push in WWE. They went to the USWA to get some training done because the USWA and WWE had a working agreement, and Travis and Troy was basically a jobber tag team down there. They were brought back up to the WWE the next year in 1996, but they were just basically a jobber to a Stars tag team too. They lost matches to the Body Donners, the Bushwhackers, the Rockers, and the Godwins, among others, and they left the WWE completely in the fall of 1996. Later on, Erik resurfaced back in WCW, this time as a heel, but he got no push whatsoever. This was around 1998, 1999. He was just basically enhancement talent, but he trained Jay Leno to wrestle at Hog Wild 1998. That was a fact, Jack. Later, after he left WCW, Erik wrestled for ECW for a couple of times, but he lost to Spike Dudley. He was managed by Louis Dangerously. Then Erik wrestled for a lot of independent wrestling organizations. He had a couple of years run in TNA as like a heel stable, but that didn't go anywhere. And since then, Erik's appeared on a lot of independent cards as a figurehead commissioner or authority figure, and he actually was one of the last AWA superstars of wrestling champion before that was retired in 2009. And Erik Watts won like 1992 PWI Rookie of the Year. Erik Watts was basically kind of an underrated talent in my humble opinion, even though people didn't like him getting pushed to the moon while his father Bill was WCW Vice President of Operations. I thought Erik could have had maybe the potential to become a TV champion or maybe a #1 contender for the US title, and going to the WWE with that Techno Team 2000 gimmick kind of sucked. But back then when he went to the WWE, especially in the 1990s, your character was changed completely. Plus, they did not acknowledge your past as in any wrestling federation. And since then, like he's been named the Value just for his name. And I have a shoot interview of Erik Watts done by High Spot in 2009. It's a decent shoot interview. It's recommended. That's about it on Erik Watts. That's about it on these video blogs: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. Tomorrow, 3 more video blogs are coming for you. First video blog will be about the top 10 people that should be the next co-host of Live with Kelly. Kelly is Kelly Ripper. Second video blog will be about the history of the Boys and Girls Club of Great America. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about Pro Basketball Hall of Famer Dennis Rodman. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Button guy. Molly Rosenblatt of WCCO Accents Nice Legs. Elizabeth Hutt's also stunning. She's the best. Amy Swensey's awesome. Linda Church of WPIX Channel 11 in New York rocks, and she's got nice legs. And Barbara Gibbs of ABC 11 has that sweet southern accent. And in the words of Bruce Cronin, former co-worker at Hot Hanks Data Technology, want to put a wager on that, Richie? Bruce Cronin's a die-hard Yankees fan. Good night, everybody.